Hey, all you spicy ladies out there, it's Jules of the Jules and Michelle Spicy Midlife Women podcast, coming to you from Seattle, Washington, the Emerald City, on this beautiful spring day. And I am bringing you the last little episode of this mini spicy series that I've been doing while Michelle has been on hiatus. And so I'm kind of excited about this one because it is pulling everything kind of all together. So this last one is on the letter Y, your next chapter. And it is something that you basically get to decide, what your next chapter is going to be.
Quick before we dive in, if you're a woman in midlife who's tired of the cliches and ready to live out loud, we're glad you're here.
Because you are definitely in the right place. We're not here to age gracefully, we're here to age boldly. So if you love real talk, big laughs, and the occasional spicy truth bomb, make sure to follow us on TikTok at Spicy Midlife Women for even more unfiltered midlife math.
We've been talking about things like seeing your life clearly, prioritizing yourself, identifying what you want, communicating with confidence, and then finally where that brings you. I mean, all of this is stuff that has to be in practice, obviously, in order for you to accomplish all of it. But it's really about getting your mind going around some of these topics, because we are in that place in our life where, you know what? Fuck it all. It's like, let's just live our lives and live it with confidence and live it happily and feel like we're making progress with the things that are important to us. So we're going to talk about that today because midlife, as we all know, and all of you are in different stages of midlife, of course, it is not something that ends your life, it's kind of a pivot to where you realize, or at least has been for me. And I know Michelle, we've talked about this a lot, where we're like, damn, we've been worrying about so many things that are really kind of irrelevant. So you just kind of start peeling back the layers of things that you have ingrained in you over the years that are things you're supposed to be doing, quote, supposed to be, or things that you're, quote, required to be doing, and really kind of starting to identify what's important to you. And so that's what all of this is really about. Okay, so like I was saying before, this is a time when people kind of perceive us to be slowing down. And you hear about middle-aged women or midlife women kind of feeling invisible, kind of not being in their bodies the way they want to be, not feeling good in their skin, they've been, as we've talked about so many times, like really investing in everybody but themselves. And so now you're kind of being, quote, selfish, so not selfish, but you know what I mean? And focusing on the things that matter to you. Now, this is going to affect the people that are around you because they're like, holy shit, what's happening? Why is this woman, is she having a midlife crisis? I was actually told that today. Are you having a midlife crisis? For a very different reason. It was a dating reason, but the answer was, hell no, I'm not. But I'm doing things differently than I've done before. Like I had gotten back from Costa Rica, and when I was in Costa Rica, I had been planning this, but I got a tattoo, and I think people were surprised. But it's like I already have some, so I don't know why they wouldn't be. Why would they be surprised? Anyway, I did, and I love it, and it's on my arm, and it's like it's gonna stay with me, and it is the words Pura Vida, which in real legit translation is pure life, but it's kind of a Costa Rican saying that they use as a greeting, or it's kind of a mantra for a way of life. And that is the life that I'm really trying to focus on and lead very intentionally. And I hope you guys are behind me and doing it for yourself too. So this is the moment when you get to actually ask yourself, what do I actually want in this next chapter of my life? This can be very high level, or it can be a day-to-day task thing, even whatever works for you. It's not like there's an answer that's the same for everybody, but you get to just say, hey, what do I want? Kind of like I was mentioning for myself. It's like, I know I want to live more pure, intentional life and be in the moment, forgot that part because I'm constantly having to make myself be in the moment. But it's like, what do you want? What is important to you? Where are you taking this next chapter? Is your life set up for you to take that next chapter? What do you need to do differently based on some of the other things that we've talked about over this series? So those are all questions that are going to have different answers for all of you than they do for me, perhaps. But the point is that you are asking the questions and you are positioning yourself to make some progress and strides if you feel that that's necessary for you to do. Even with awareness, women stay stuck. And some of that is because the hesitation of doing things differently, the lack of confidence to do things differently or to try things differently. Change in general feels uncertain. It feels uncomfortable. It feels disruptive. And then, you've got everybody around you that is going to be a part of that change as well. And you're going to get pushback probably from people that are not, they like you the way you were. They like things the way they were. They don't want them to change. And so, you can make a decision to say, well, I'm going to be passive and not rock the boat, or I'm going to make these changes that are going to make me happier. And I think sometimes too, when you do this and really stick to your guns on the things that are important to you, people see you be happier. They see that you're different. They see that you are focusing on things differently, and you'll be surprised. They might really, really like what they see. So don't always take it like such a negative thing when you're making adjustments and changes, because it's going to make not only your world better, but probably the people that are around you. It's going to make them wake up and maybe have their world look a little better too. A lot of us, we don't need to take more time necessarily. We just need to kind of make a decision, because we can't say, I'm busy that day forever. We can't say, I'll take care of that later forever. Can't say, I'll think about it when I have more time, because we are in that time right now. It's like, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, because, we've talked about before where, we have more Christmases, for example, behind us than we do ahead of us. And then I start getting all melancholy about stuff, going, shit, there's so many things that I want to do. And so I know that for me, I need to keep myself super healthy, and I need to keep a very positive attitude on things, and I need to plan so I have things to look forward to and I can see progress and things that are made. So those are all things that have come out of, even as we've been doing our podcast and this series. These are all things that I'm putting into place, as Michelle's putting into place as well. And so we're kind of learning a lot of that along the way. And we've already done a lot of this, obviously, because we're speaking from experience with a lot of the things that we have talked about in the past on episodes. So the next chapter does not have to be this dramatic thing, right? It doesn't have to be something where you're blowing up your life. It might be just a subtle shift. And that subtle shift is a very conscious, intentional choice on your part, but it's a subtle shift just the same. It's not like where you're walking into the room one day one way and you're walking out of the room another way. It's not like that. Well, I mean, it might be for you, but for me, I think a lot of it's just these little subtle shifts that you start making and integrating into the day to day that you have. And then they start becoming habit and practice, kind of like going to the gym, right? I've talked about this before, because I am the girl who has to be forced to go to the gym. I have to have a class, and I have to get penalized if I don't go by having to pay for it, that sort of thing. Well, part of my subtle shift recently has been where I stopped doing that and I started going to the regular gym, but I started creating my plan before I went. And now it's kind of becoming a habit to do it that way. Like, I know what I'm going to be lifting on a specific day, or I know if I'm going to be doing more cardio on a specific day or whatever, but I have a plan and I have committed to this plan and I'm sticking to it, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm feeling so good, you guys. It's like, it's taken time, to get to that place, but I just don't think I could do it any other way now. And it's going to become even more imperative as we get older, as I get older, because I don't want to be, not able to walk up a hill or not able to do the things that I want to do. Like in Costa Rica, we did this brutal 4 mile hike. Brutal. We're talking brutal. Like, I wanted to kill the lady I was with because it was so brutal. But I was so happy that we finished it, and that I did it. It's not something that I would probably normally have done, but it was a great experience. I'm glad I didn't. I did it. I didn't get bitten by any bugs, and I didn't see any cougars or panthers or anything, I guess, that you can see out there. We didn't really see any of that stuff. So I just, lots of waterfalls. But anyway, my point being is that I made myself do it, and I worked out. I found a gym when I was in Costa Rica, and I worked out 3 times while I was there. So anyway, my point being is, like, you have to develop these habits yourself, and you start developing the habits, they start becoming part of your daily life. And then all of a sudden you're like missing it when you're not doing it. So I want you guys to have one final little spicy challenge from this series that I've been doing with you. And Again, these are all kind of rhetorical. You're not required to provide an answer to me. I would love to hear in the DMs what your thoughts are on some of these things, which I've been getting some great feedback from people, which I really appreciate, that have been listening. But I want you to ask yourself this question. My next chapter looks like, and then I want you to put some thought into how you answer that question. What does that next chapter look like? Maybe it's in increments. Maybe it's much more vague. And if you have a very vague answer for yourself, then you know you need to dig deeper, because you have to have a little bit more tangible details in order to make things happen. It's kind of like when you set goals. You say, I want to run a marathon. Well, in order to run that marathon, you've got steps that you have to take along the way. So the end goal is the marathon, but all of these little mini steps along the way are what get you to that final goal. It's the same thing here. If you are seeing your future being more bright, more vibrant, more travel involved, more, maybe you want to get into a loving relationship, maybe you want to get out of a relationship. All of these things are great goals, but what are you doing to get yourself to that place? And what does that vision look like? I want to say one last thing to all of you. The most important thing a woman can do at this time in her life is stop waiting. We got to stop waiting, you guys, and you have to start doing in order to make things happen. And we only, as I've mentioned before, get this one life. So there are no do-overs. So really think this through and try to really come up with what your life is going to look like. If you make some of the adjustments and changes that you know you need to make, that you want to make, that you're scared to make, what's going to happen? And let's see what you have to say. So that's all I have for you. Again, we are on all the socials. We are on TikTok. We're still dancing on TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, and of course on YouTube. And I appreciate all of you staying here and hanging out with me, while we've been doing this little mini series. And I'll look forward to having you back next week when we have Michelle in tow and we've got some juicy stuff to talk about. So until then, ladies, stay spicy. Night.